Hello everyone, my name is Cephalon, and it's time for another episode of Bedtime Stories. Bedtime Stories in the world of Torment, Tides of Numenera, the successor of Planescape Torment, one of the best stories ever written. So I have read up about a couple of critic reviews, and people didn't find the combat system to be that great. I actually find it fine so far, and I'm actually really curious to where this is going. Excuse me.
Yes?
I wanted to check on something. I wanted to check the character's abilities. Hedge magic, nope. Items. I want to have the character sheet. And I am... Where is it? I am a mystical jack. And the mystical is something very interesting that I just looked up in the book, and I'm just gonna read it out. If you want, you can skip ahead, but I'm just gonna read it out for a second. So, mystical, or mechanical in this case, it's mystical. You have a special talent that can be viewed in two ways. You might think of yourself as mystical and thus attuned with the mysterious and the paranormal, or you might think of yourself as mechanical and thus adept with devices and machines. In this case, I'm mystical. In either case, your true talents lie with the Numenera. You likely have experience with ancient lore, and you can sense and wield the Numenera. Though whether that means magic or technology is up to you, and probably up to those around you as well. Mystical characters often wear jewelry, such as a ring or amulet, or have tattoos or other marks that show their interests. Mechanical characters tend to carry a lot of tools and treat them almost like talismans. So basically, I can do the following. I get +2 on my intellect pool, that's why I have speed. +2 on my intellect pool. Huh. They changed that, as it looks like. Yeah, they did. So it's not that. But for the character rulebook, I would get 2 on that. I would have a skill that I'm trained in all actions involving identifying and understanding the Numenera. I have some sort of sense magic, and I can do some hedge magic, which I have here as well. I was able to get this, and which I find kind of interesting is you can sense whether the Numenera is active in situations where its presence is not obvious. You must study an object or location closely for a minute to get a feel for whether the touch of the ancients is at work. I'm really curious if that is the case in the game, in a sense that maybe this character, as a mystical jack, I find things that that other characters won't see. This is a dominant tide idealist, and some people know one tide dominates over any other. Those people might be capricious, or they might live their lives in balance, valuing both investigation, action power, and kindness. Society is good with the good of the individual. So this is kind of like your moral. Yeah. Okay. All right, we can go. I think I have read enough. I've bored you enough with reading. So, my descriptor actually describes the character. It flavors everything I do.
Where did he fall from? His body smashed to talk. It's a wonder he's still breathing.
All I saw was the corona, not his origin point. But look, he's healing already. Spontaneous regeneration.
When you look at that, that face. Why did that fall? What was that? What did you do, Callistige? His tone has become accusatory, suspicious. You open your eyes. The first thing you notice is this man's kaleidoscope of tattoos, writhing across his forearms. He wears a long dark coat, belted at the waist, supplies filling the pockets. His boots are worn and stained with years of travel. You blame me? He emitted he emitted an internal physiological reaction in response to the fall, probably related to the fantastic healing process. Obviously, Aligern. Her voice rolls and hisses, and you have to rub your eyes to be sure that you're not seeing double. Faint echoes of her actions trail from her, each nearly mimicking her, though some act and react to stimuli that you can't perceive. Her vivid hair and outrageous clothing remain constant through these shadows. It's kind of like she has some mirrors that float around. Oh yes, it's obvious, Calistige. His voice is grim and clipped. Then he sees you looking at him. You're no ordinary mortal, we know that much. Stop talking. His face is hard and set. Was I dead? You fell an incredible distance, yet here you are, talking. Do you really not? He cocks his head to the side. You don't know, do you? I'm starting to think you're not him. Starting to think, Aligan? Tell me, is it a novel experience? It's his face! I've never seen any other people rebuild themselves like that. Only the changing god could have healed so quickly. He sighs and rubs his face, trying to regain his composure. Maybe you could help me for a change. You know what this means to me. And then Calistige says, You're familiar with the word changing, Aligan. It implies inconstancy. Thus, the changing god may well have changed. Several versions of her shrug, and she addresses you. You'll have to forgive him. He believes you're someone he once knew, even though it's painfully obvious to anyone that you're newly born. Her most solid self-courtesies, while others bow or spin. I and my sisters am Calistige. This is Aligan. We're explorers, knowledge seekers. That's how we came to be in this room. If I'm not mistaken, you are what we call a cast-off. The changing god created you, body and mind. Your sire used your body for a time, then abandoned it for reasons of its own. When his mind departed for a new experience, you were born in his cast-off shell. Who is the changing god? Ha! That's something coming from you. Calistige gives him a sidelong glance. The changing god is your sire, dear. He discovered a path to immortality long ago, a means to transfer his self to a new body of his own creation. I don't think he knew, however, that when he abandoned one body, another mind was birthed to fill the void. And Aligan says, Oh, he knew all right. He eyes you up and down coldly. The only thing the changing god cares about is himself. He doesn't give a single thought for those he leaves behind. And I will answer. So there are other cast-offs? Hundreds. Who can say? Your sire has been doing this for several centuries, Calistige says. Though if all of them were born the way you claim to have been, it's a wonder any of them survive, says Aligan. So you say I was born when the changing god left, but why am I not dead? Aligan answers, I used the cipher to slow your fall further, but the damage still would have killed any ordinary person. But think about it. If you're the kind of person who can make your body into anything you want, what do you do? If you've constructed bodies for centuries, no, you want to make each one better than the last. You want to live forever. You're not going to let your life end by accident. No, you'll make strong bodies, fast, powerful. Maybe throw in regeneration while you're at it. Calistige steps in. The changing god has always been vain. He rarely stays long in a shell that doesn't suit his self-image. She looks up at May and up and down. Her smile suddenly unnerving. Sorry. Perhaps the changing god fled because he didn't want to wear those scars of yours. Do you know anything about the tides? Calisthesia answers, I've heard that term before. A subject your sire studied in a great depth. I'm afraid it isn't my field of inquiry. What do I answer? I answer number 3. What was that blast of energy when I awoke? Calisthesia answers, as I was telling my colleague, it was obviously a physiological reaction of some kind. I've never witnessed the birth of a cast-off, but yes, it could very well have been caused by your nascent consciousness. Don't worry, I don't believe it caused any real harm. Not to me, at least. Really? You've been more abrasive than ever since we came in here. He shoots her a sidelong look. She just can't empathize with other people unless she's experimenting on them. How can you be sure this body is a cast-off? Calisthesia answers again. You mean aside from your miraculous reformation? For one thing, there is your tattoo. All cast-offs have one, though its purpose is beyond me. And then, of course, there's your delicious naivety. He could be faking it. You don't live hundreds of years without learning to lie convincingly, says Aligan. Oh, she sighs in desperation, then says to you, what do you think? Are you a newborn child, or are you a powerful immortal whom death has robbed of his memories? Aligan crosses his arms and growls, fine. What do you think? You obviously knew the changing god, Aligarn. What do you think? Am I him? Dominant tides have shifted for some reason. I have no idea why. But I knew this is going to be important. So Aligarn answers. That is just the kind of question he would ask. He scrutinizes you in a way he hadn't before. I admit you carry yourself differently. The changing god I knew had a glint of knowing everything about our world and the worlds before it. You personally... That's very much the same. Blue Tide raised a small amount. So I could be cocky and just pretend I'm the changing god. And why shouldn't I? Well, let's see what happens. You could be him. I hope not, for your sake. You would have a lot to answer for, from a lot of people. Oh, maybe that's not a great idea to pretend. And Calisthesia puts in, and what are you basing that conclusion on, Aligan? Your feelings? He looks away and his composure slips a little. Gods, you're so rank at some styles, Calisthesia. If the changing god abandoned my body, where is he now? If he abandoned your body, then his consciousness fled to another. He eyes you keenly. Oh, stop! The look she gives Aligan is equally piercing, amplified by the withering glares of her sisters. If there's one thing we know about the changing god, dear, is that he always has a contingency. This child was born here. The object of your obsession will have been reborn somewhere else. Are you sure that search didn't hurt you? If it did, it was damage in our minds. Though, how would you check if it cocked her? I couldn't say. Tough to find normalcy here. Calisthesia says, at least we know it didn't hurt Aligan. That skull's as thick as organic stone. And what are the changing god's bodies like again? Powerful and beautiful. Each one like an improvement over the last. I'm curious what you're capable of, child. I suppose we'll find out. I want to ask about something else. Of course, child. You must be so disoriented. Can you tell me about the other... No, again? Nah. Before I awoke, I was in some kind of dreamlike labyrinth with a glowing spectre. With how hard With how hard you hit the ground, I'm surprised that's all you saw. Why do you seem to hate the changing god so much? The ghost of a smile touches Aligan's mouth, as if he's privy to take a joke, but it doesn't reach his hard eyes. He's lived longer than anyone in the Ninth World. He hasn't been much of a philanthropist all that time. He's helped some people, sure, but it's always been in his own self-interest. He's gotten away with a load of skist over the years. If falling from the sky didn't kill me, is there anything that can? Well, good question, actually. Calistige answers. An excellent question. Oh, I knew that. An excellent question. Having seen your regenerative abilities in action, I suspect they are primarily physical, a regrowth. If that's the case, you'd be unable to survive most varieties of psychic or molecular decomposition, disintegration, conflagration, and so forth. Degenerative diseases could pose a problem, and I know of several entities capable of psychic destruction. As she speaks, a vision flashes into your mind. It's not yours exactly. Somehow you know this is a memory of the changing gods. You're in a dark room, lit by a myriad of blinking lights and holograms from the many machines surrounding you. What about a body that can withstand the sorrow's attacks? Says a voice. It seems to be coming from one of the machines. No, you reply. The thing has no respect for barriers of any kind, physical, temporal, psychic. This is the only way. With a series of gestures, you bring up an image of a crystalline pod. If the resonance chamber works, it will give us the power to stop the Sorrow's hunt once for all. We just need the right focal point. Catalyst. The memory fades. Calistige is still talking. You realize that the device you saw in the memory is identical to the one behind you now. It looks just like the Spectre had described it, a transparent sarcophagus inside a crystalline dome, with mechanical arms arrayed around it on a metal ring. Unfortunately, the dome is shattered, the sarcophagus is crushed, and one of the arms is in pieces on the floor. Whatever its function, it clearly needs repair. Calistige continues, of flesh-eating viruses. One presumes disfigurement by the Iron Wind would likewise be devastating enough too. The Iron Wind is something really nasty, by the way. Just saying that for the ones that didn't read the rulebook. The Iron Wind is something, I mean, with all the things the last 8 generations of civilizations have brought up, there's a lot of shit in the air, and it's kind of like a bad version of a sandstorm. It rips you apart, basically. I think he gets the point, Calistige. I saw a vision of myself in another time and place just now. You didn't see it too, did you? I saw you stare into space where Calistige graphically described all the ways you could die, but that's about it, he snorts. I only noticed because I did the same thing. Do either of you know anything about this sorrow? I've heard my share of sorrows, but never the sorrow. What's that, a disease? Her mouth compresses in a tight line. I know nothing about it, Calistige says. And what is this place? A sanctum of your sires. The common belief is he has several such places throughout the Ninth World, possibly other worlds as well. We were only just able to gain entry to this one because of your grand entrance. Oh, by the way, why are they calling it the Ninth World? How would you know that? But, I mean, we know dinosaurs have been on the world. Yes, for everyone else, I think evolution is correct. So, we know about ancient Greece, ancient Rome, and all this stuff, so they know about different civilizations that have lived on this planet in the past as well. There's some things that they don't know anymore, but there are things that they've figured out. I mean, they have archaeologists. Do you either of you know how to fix a crystal chamber here?
Making a note.
request received fallen to earth. Elegant chuckles, then, firm and certain, he says, "Not likely, though it might not be impossible. You need people with the appropriate knowledge. I'm sure the cult of the changing god will hold the answer." Cult of the changing god. So there is a whole cult about the changing god. Interesting. Calliste's distaste is evident in the expressions of her echoes, although the face of the one in the lead remains carefully impassive. You turn to the insane to help a newborn. Where is your judgment, Elegant? I would take him to the Order of Truth. The Order of Truth, I think, is the order that try to seek out the truth about the worlds and the things that happen around them and technologies and all that, so they kind of like identify everything. The Order of Truth? Are you mad? That would sooner take us apart. What is the cult of the changing god? Despite what she says, they're not insane. They're eccentrics. She laughs, but he soldiers on. Their worship is of you and your sire, the changing god. They devote their lives to understanding your kind. What's the Order of Truth? Callisto says, knowledge seekers. They learn to try to wrest secrets from the hearts of the prior worlds. They gather in the city to exchange their findings and help humanity to build a brighter future. She smiles brightly. Our friend Elegant here was once one of them. Frauds, quacksalvers, and charlatans. They don't have all the answers, and I'd not trust them with the changing god's secrets. You're just angry that they couldn't help you with yours. He echoes her echoes tinkle laughter. But I'm being too cruel, dear Elegant. Let us take our new friend to the Order. I would go to the cultist of the changing god. I must say, I must have some certain standing. I mean, my face looks like the changing god. They might not know I am still there. I could find out anything. Charitably, lunatics. Elegant is fine company with them. They find godhood in a man, obsessively follow his movements, and canonize his get. They'll love you one way or another. Should I go to the changing god or to the Order of Truth, or thank you for your help, but I figure this out on my own. Can you tell me again these again? Hard decision. I'm so bad with decision. I love to put some. I'd love always to go for polls and ask my viewers to take this, but let's go to the cult of the changing god. A wise choice. Your worshippers aren't likely to cut you apart, and they're sometimes fools, but they collect knowledge and data. They'll tell you more than you care to know about, whoever you are. They could give you good counsel. Callisto sniffs and gives Elegant an acid glare. Good counsel? The best counsel is to come with me. I'll accompany the two of you. When you change your mind, you'll need an introduction to the Order of Truth. Okay, so you can do one or the other, which would be nice. Fine, we'll both go. But don't be surprised when Callisto leaves you broken in a ditch with your purse empty, while she laughs it off as a good experiment. Suspicious as always, Elegant. Child, the world is an exciting place, but it is full of dangers. Rest assured, one of us will get you safely to where you need to be. I'll be right behind you. A sunny smile crosses her faces. Alright then, let's go. Companions. You have gained your first companions. They'll follow the lost cast of and can be controlled during a crisis. You can speak to them about their past and take advantage of their unique abilities and skills. Companions have their own motivations and personalities, and depending on the choices you make, they may not follow you forever. You will find more companions who can join you as you travel through the ninth world. Take this opportunity to explore your surroundings. You may find items, equipment, and more to assist you. When you're ready, you can leave the broken dome using the stairs to the northeast. Cool. Alright, so the reading simulator is over. We can check out some stuff. Broken fragments of the doomed ceiling are scattered on the floor that appear to be made of transparent synth.
I'm going.
What about this? A mechanical arm lies on the floor, presumably broken during your fall. Sparks pour out from the arm's shattered housing, filling the air with a greasy stench. Examine the housing. Sharply pointed apparatus that formerly topped the device appears burnt out and useless, but the equipment in the base remains at least somewhat operational, as the constant stream of sizzling motes can attest. I use the lower machinery and quick fingers to attempt to scavenge what you can find from the arm's housing. Tutorial effort. If you select the companion's portrait in the effort window, they can assist the last caster with some challenges. Your companion's stat pools are used instead of your own, and they may have different skills, abilities, and statistics that make the challenge easier. Companions cannot assist in a crisis, and can only use their stats during their turn. What would I do that? 25, 70. Okay, so he's pretty good. I could even put, wow, 75%. Actually, very likely. And we didn't get it. Failure. Inside the broken machine, you notice some little trinkets and small coin-like objects. You recognize the value at once. Such objects would be accepted as shins, the informal currency in most regions of the world. Unfortunately, you're only able to retrieve a few of them. You can't seem to dislodge the others. I'll leave the device alone. Okay. Can interact with this weird sarcophagus. Sunlight falls through the ragged hole in the roof onto the shattered resonance chamber. It is hard to believe that you did this, that you plummeted through the curve of the pale blue sky, crashed through the dome and broke this delicate machine with your own body. It is hard to believe that you're still alive. 4 mechanical arms hang over the center of the device, above the cracked and semi-transparent crystal of the sarcophagus. The 5th arm lies broken on the floor among the scattered stones and crystal shards, and a metal ring surrounds the array, dented and broken by your impact crater. I take a closer look at the sarcophagus. So the padded interior beneath the coffin's cracked lid looks like it was made for a human body. Despite the damage, you don't seem any way to open it and get inside. You glance between the sarcophagus and the needle-like protrusions at the ends of the arms above. It seems likely that using the chamber would not be a pleasant experience. I inspect the metal ring. You feel the slightest hint of resistance every time you cross the ring. And now that you're paying attention, you note that your breath is echoing in your ears, as though you were inside a glass dome. When you step outside the ring, the feeling passes. The ring seems to project some kind of field, like a protective dome around the sarcophagus. I try it again and again. It doesn't get any better. What about this one? Okay. Suspended arms. Cables run thunder machines. Come like flicker dimly at the bases of the arms. Sound the suspended needle and shots on the ground. Jagged fragments of crystal are intermingled with synth from the shattered dome above. The crystal shards glitter in the light like captive suns. Perception. A faint scratching sound draws your attention to 2 crystalline chunks near your feet. As you watch, they tumble great gently into each other and melt, their disparate angles flowing together like water. After a moment they part again, trailing shining threads of living crystal. It seems that the resonance chamber can heal from certain wounds, but not from the amount of the damage you've done to it. Okay. I step away from the device. Interesting. Okay, this doesn't do anything, so there is something to it.
Here we go then.
Alright, there's a Fleetfoot Moss. There's 3 points of speed, interesting. Encephalic Rush. And Shin, take all.
Don't
What about
push
you?
me.
What do you have? You got... Who are you, by the way? So you are... Aligern is a hardened nano who fights with his demons. So here's the question for you. What does that mean? So Aligern has a tough life. He's given him a unique outlook on problem solving. That means hardened. He's a nano, so he's that kind of magic guy, and fights with his demons. Aligern's tattoos seem to be a source of great pain for him, but they're also a source of great power. So he gets different things. Ooh, wow, he has interesting stuff. And she is a cunning nano who pierces realities. Calastisha has gathered esoterics and knowledge from countless realities. She's truly a force to be reckoned with. And cunning means Calastisha's ability to exist in multiple realities at once gives her a unique outlook on things. So she has interesting things. Oh, we'll see about that.
Yes.
Wait, no. So they have concentration, surface use, endurance, machine smashing, medium weapons. Okay. She sees a lot, and she's also mystical. Interesting. Inventory, equip things. Your first equipment, which contains any item equipped through the current character. Equipment includes melee and ranged weapons, shields, armor, ornaments, string ornaments, and bonded items. Your backpack contains items being carried by the current character. You can equip, inspect, or transfer items from it. Quest items contain any special items required for a quest. Quest items cannot be discarded or sold, so you won't need to worry about accidentally losing one. Inventory. The final section shows the ciphers you are carrying in your cipher limit. That one. Ciphers shown in the inner rings are highlighted in blue and are safe to carry. Those on the outer ring, highlighted in orange, are over your cipher limit and inflict negative effects as long as you are carrying them. You can use, sell, discard, or transfer them to another party member to get back under your cipher limit. Interesting. Okay, do they have a cipher? No. We don't. We all don't. Interesting. That is a slate-like, unimpressive device hunkers before you. As you reach out to touch it, the triangle of its lights and its casing blazes into life, and an image unfolds on your mind. Oh dear. Towering crystal arc rises over a jagged grey landscape. The air is dead and stifling, and there at its emerald peak, the image collapses, leaving you staring into the device's triangular area of light. Command me, the device, or the intelligence within it, says, each word carefully etched with distaste. What was that arc you showed me? Your command was not understood. The intelligence chuckles, its lights pulsing. Command me. What commands do you recognize? The 3 lights throb irritably. Heated air sights from the device's vents, and then a towering list of commands races through your mind. Far too fast to read. You rub your eyes, groaning, and the intelligence chortles. Command me, he says smugly. Show me that list of commands again. Slower, please. If anything, the list purrs through your mind even faster than the last time. Command me, the intelligence drawls. Show me that arc again. Device triangle of lights drop in time with the growl of the engines within its casting, and the mental image unfolds once more. You see a huge crystalline arc on a jagged field, blah blah blah. All of which are the arc is divided into rectangular cells, all of which are numbered, and they all appear to be transparent and empty, except at the arc's pinnacle, one cell is lit to a brilliant, pulsating emerald. The number 0 is printed on the side. Anamnesis. Try to remember more details about the strange place. I don't have the skill, but I'm trying. Ooh, yeah. I put effort in. I want to know this. Success. The memory blossoms. You stand before this arc, eyeing the last 2 active cells in once impenetrable Lugambo. Unleash Cell 29, you say, and a twisted artifact appears before you. You claim it with a faint smile, watching the light fade from the cell far above. You flinch from the memory, and it falls apart as you raise your eyes to the arc as it is now. Cell 29 is dark now. Only Cell 0 remains. Examine the jagged wasteland. Dry grid whirls across the empty plain. Many kilometers beyond the arc is the faint outline of what seems to be a broken tower, except that it is slowly stretching into the grey air. Examine it again. Far beyond the arc, the broken tower reaches for a pale red threaded clouds. And again. Nope. Close the image of the arc. Unleash the contents of Cell 0. You found the cipher. Ciphers are Numenera objects that can trigger a powerful effect, but can only be used once. Ciphers and your cipher limit score are displayed in a special section of the inventory screen. Take care not to accumulate more ciphers than your cipher limit, or you will experience unpleasant side effects. Okay, so we have a lot of... Oh, that looks like a bomb. Oh yeah, that's unstable detonation. A cipher, basically a grenade, deals 6 energy damage, 4 physical damage to all characters in range, consumes action. Oh yeah. A simple and effective explosives. Devices like these have been the bane of many who have had the misfortune of encountering them. Cobbled together from junk in Numenera, this detonation can have a wild and unexpected effects when hurled at the enemy. Rumors have it that most of the unlucky victims of these devices were the people trying to use them, for their inability makes them just as dangerous to their powers as to their enemies. Okay. The device lights flutter with incandescent shock, then focus on you, flickering. Cell 0 will now be unleashed, the intelligence spits. Please be advised that the object you are about to receive is completely safe. Use no caution whatsoever. The strange contents of Cell 0 materialize before you. Warning, all cells are now vacant. Shuttering Lugambo. The intelligence lights wink out, one by one. Interesting that a cast of can command the changing gods machines. He crosses his arms across his chest. How'd you do that? Callistine rolls her eyes at Eligorn. Then she looks at you. He'll never stop gnawing on his bone, you know. The truth is wasted on him. She gets a glint in her eye. Though, I admit curiosity. How did you do that? Just lucky, I guess. Let's be modest. Elegant frowns. Sure it was. Just don't forget I'm watching you. As if you would let us forget. Honestly, Elegant, Callistine says. Interesting. So we have that. We can examine that. Tiny glowing motes float through the interior of this tower. Each one is surrounded by much smaller motes, like thousands of balls circling their suns. And the flexible tubes that are attached to this machine appear to be later additions. Someone cobbled the device together, but its function is unclear. Okay.
Without doubt.
This is an interesting room. We can certainly say we have discovered everything. I think we can say that. And that brings us to the end of episode 3, I think. Interesting dome, interesting room. Certainly an interesting premise.
Without doubt.
And thank you for watching. Please subscribe, please leave a comment, please leave a like, show me that you want to know more. Ask questions, I can read you from the book and name you. And yeah, let me know in the comment section. I wish you a good night. That was Bedtime Stories Part 3. Good night.